Shalom, everyone. I'm recording this on the day before Passover, when tomorrow evening we will sit down at our Seder table, many of us alone or with our significant other or partner, at the most maybe a few members of the immediate family, and it will certainly be one of the strangest and challenging Passover experiences that we have ever gone through. And so at a time like this, we can find great comfort and solace in the words of the psalmist. So I turn now to Psalm 11. For the leader of David, in the Lord I take refuge. How can you say to me, take to the hills like a bird? For see, the wicked bend the bow. They set their arrow on the string to shoot from the shadows at the upright. When the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous man do? The Lord is in his holy palace. The Lord, his throne is in heaven. His eyes behold, his gaze searches mankind. The Lord seeks out the righteous man, but loathes the wicked one who loves injustice. He will rain down upon the wicked blazing coals and sulfur. A scorching wind shall be their lot. For the Lord is righteous. He loves righteous deeds. The upright shall behold his face. The psalmist considers himself to be one of the righteous, or at least a person who strives and aspires towards righteousness, and is very much in demand, and is being sought after and pursued by two separate and conflicting forces. The first, the forces of evil, the forces of the wicked who wait in the shadows and bend the bow and aim the arrow at the upright, at the righteous person intending to do harm. On the other hand, we have the forces of good embodied in God, God sitting in his palace in the heavens, focusing his gaze upon mankind, searching for the upright, loving righteousness, and wanting to find all those on this earth who are righteous and walk in God's ways. These two forces are vying for the soul, in a sense, of this upright man. The forces of evil would like to capture him and destroy him. The forces of good, the force of God, the divine power, is seeking him out in order to infuse him with the spirit of righteousness, to allow him to continue to walk in God's ways and to lead a good life. Sometimes in our own lives we feel the pull of the Yetzer HaTov versus the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination versus the good inclination. And those two inclinations and forces within the human heart and soul can often vie for our loyalty. And they often set themselves in conflict in terms of which one will be able to capture our attention and which path shall we follow. The path of selfless good and righteousness versus the path of self-centered, selfish, and narcissistic evil. Which one will it be? Each and every day we are faced with that choice. But now in particular, with COVID-19 plaguing our world, that plague can be understood as that force of evil, or symbolized in the psalm as the forces of the wicked that wait in the shadows to do us harm and to inflict evil upon us. We are unsuspecting and vulnerable. We don't know where it comes from, but if we are not careful, we can be ensnared and captured. And even if we are careful and exercise the precautions we need to, there is no foolproof guarantee that, God forbid, we will not contract that terrible virus. In spite of all that, we try our best to be good. We try our best to do good. And even though we know that this particular evil that surrounds us is laying in wait for us if we are not careful, we also know that the power of God is present and there for us each and every day, each and every hour, and each and every minute, if we are only open to that, and if we are only able to practice some awareness that life is not all about the virus, that life is not all about shutting ourselves in and exercising precautions, that life is not only the embodiment of suffering and despair, but life also offers the opportunities for infinite good and for infinite joy if we can only be open to it, even during times of suffering, even during times of sorrow. The psalmist reminds us that the Lord is righteous, and because the Lord is righteous, God loves righteous deeds. Other than taking the necessary safety precautions today, there's nothing much else we can do except to do the next right thing, the next good thing, and to try to act well and to live well and be good and live righteously in our day-to-day lives. We may not be going out into the world nowadays to do volunteer work or to be active in our communities, especially if we are shutting ourselves at home. But we also think about the healthcare workers, essential workers in all walks of life who are putting their safety on the line for the good of us all, and we are grateful to them. But even though we may not be doing what they are doing, we still have the capacity to do good in our human interactions, in the way we relate to one another, the way we reach out to one another and care for one another. And also, in the end, each of us has the capacity and the ability to take some time during our daily lives to pray and to offer those prayers of thanks and gratitude to God. And at the same time, to share prayers of supplication, to ask God for the well-being and safety of God's creatures, and to know that no matter what the outcome, God is somehow there for us in spirit and in love. Shalom.